We're the United States of America. Unity and oneness is what we're made of. One nation under God, it's plain to see. We're showing the whole world what a country should be. United we stand in America, hand in hand in America. Together as one in a land that we love. United we stand in America.
They happen in a second. They happen in a second. Something happens, and maybe you have a shooter, an active shooter or something, and these people have a training device that very few places in this country have. Probably the first husband-wife combination, and I want to introduce them. We've got Mike Deans and Jackie. Jackie, how are you guys doing today?
We're
Great.
doing great.
Well, I tell you what, we're glad to have you today. They own a business called Ozark Shoot Don't Shoot Solutions in Highlandville, Missouri. And people are going to say, well, where's that? Well, you go to several places. You travel around and do trainings, right?
That's correct. We go to over 6 states every year.
6 states every year, and so those states are fortunate to have your training. And I know that kind of going a little bit of background of you guys where you'll know who these people are, and I'll let you say anything else that you want to say about yourself. But I know, Mike, you're a Vietnam veteran and appreciate your service. We appreciate all the veteran service out there, and this country would not be this country if it wasn't for our veterans. We've won wars that probably we maybe shouldn't have won, and God helped us win those wars with the best military that any country's ever seen. So we've always been the best. But so we appreciate that. But also, though, you did 40 years of protecting people, right? Security and things like that.
Correct. When I came back from Vietnam in the Marine Corps, I went straight into HPD, Houston, Texas, and I spent about 10 years there, went to other agencies afterwards. I've got about 40 plus years in law enforcement and personal protection of individuals and property and people.
Well, and then I know Jackie don't mean to say you're not smart, because I know you're smart, but she's a brains, because when I was reading about you guys, Jackie, you run the computer, you kind of work up scenarios of the simulation, things
Yes.
that people might be exposed to that they would never think they're going to be exposed to. So you do all that and you kind of run the system.
Yes.
And I'm the dumbest person, certainly in this room, but just about everywhere I go, about computers and all the new technology. I can operate my phones and I can operate a laptop a little bit, but it's my grandkids that keep me going on things, because I always get stuck on something and they'll help me right away. They can do it so quick, and I'm just I wonder why I don't know this stuff. I guess I just wasn't raised in that environment, but you know how to do all that stuff. You both are certified trainers in a system that, and do you guys, I'm going to ask you, do you guys have a gun range too on your property?
We have an indoor shoot room.
Shoot
we
room.
do not shoot any live rounds.
Okay.
And we get a lot of calls sometimes where they ask us on the phone, do you have a range out here? No. We don't have a live range. We have a laser range.
Okay.
And we have room to give move and shoot drills. There's no ammo costs where we shoot.
So that's probably pretty
so that
smart.
saves a lot of money.
Yeah.
And but we don't teach people how to shoot, really. We teach people when to shoot and when not to shoot, and what the ramifications are afterwards in today's world of 2025. Because there's ramifications: civil, criminal, psychological, guilt, news media-wise. Everything's different than it was 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, everything's changing every day, every week, every year. So here's what I think. You could be one of the best shooters. You know how to handle a gun. And I've gone through the safety courses and conceal and carry. Jan and I did that. And we learned a lot. And because I never grew up shooting a lot. I grew up mostly in Springfield, Missouri, but when I'd go down to West Plains where my cousins lived, I learned how to shoot a .22, and we'd go out and shoot a rabbit or squirrel or something like that, but that's about all I ever did. I never had a
Quite
pistol
different, yeah.
until later on in life and stuff like that. So you can get pretty good at shooting a gun, but if your mind does not know how to react when something happens and you're never expecting it, you're never going to expect what's going to happen.
Well, that's what it's all about, is your mindset and realizing that everything can change in your life in a split second. You never know when something's going to happen. So you need to realize that within a split second, a human being could be in front of you in a confrontation type of a situation. You can grow up with guns, be in the military, be in law enforcement, but if you've never had a human confrontation, lethal confrontation, it's much different than the range. You don't have human forms coming at you at the range. You have poor little steel and paper targets. They're not holding a rifle or anything, but in front of our screens with these scenarios going, you have people screaming at you, shooting at you, running at you within 10 feet, 20, 30 feet, and you need to know when to shoot, when to move. You need to get off the X. You need to know when to talk, when to be quiet, because you need to focus. As we go to the range, you focus to shoot that poor little target. You need to focus when you have to shoot to defend yourself, the flock, the pastor, and innocent people. You don't want to be screaming and talking while you're shooting. It's going to hurt your accuracy.
Right.
And you want to make sure that if you have to use that weapon at the last resort, you stop the threat and do not harm the innocent people, because we're responsible for every round that exits that barrel. You are civilly and criminally in this country. So you can have what we used to call a good shoot if you stop a threat, but if you accidentally hurt somebody, especially a child, you have to live with that.
Sure.
You can't get that round back from that barrel. So a good shoot can turn into a bad shoot, a tragedy. Something like Lakewood Church. That's a tragedy that happened in Texas.
Yeah.
So we teach conservative shooting. You shoot only what you need because you don't know how long that event's going to last.
Right.
You don't want to run out of ammo because that's a bad, helpless feeling. I know
Right.
that fact.
Yeah, yeah. So Jackie, what is this system called?
It's a Milo,
Milo.
M-I-L-O.
Okay.
It's multiple interaction learning objectives.
Okay, and how long have you guys had this system?
We've had it since 2016.
Wow. So you're a pioneer in this, really.
We have been, yes.
And I'm sure it's gotten more advanced.
It has,
and-
and we have a program that's where I can edit the scenarios. We have different branches. So once we get to know the people that are up there, and it takes a few minutes for them to get adjusted to what we do, then I decide which ones. We have a certain script that we go by, but after they're there, then I can adjust it to fit the client.
So you can customize it
Mm-hmm.
right there on the spot. You can customize it. You kind of sum up those people pretty quick.
Yes.
And then you customize it and maximize what they're going to learn.
Yes.
And that's pretty good. And one of the things that you guys were talking to me about before we started our show was the fact that church groups are one of the biggest groups that you work with. And I can see that because, there was a time when you never heard of anybody being shot in a church or a synagogue or in any of those places. I mean, that was unheard of. That's the safe place. And today, I don't know if you're even your home. Everybody thinks your home is the safest place. Well, no, you have intruders in your home.
Yeah.
And so I don't think there is a safe place. And that's why what you all do is extremely important because everyone is at peril at all times. They just don't realize it.
Yeah, it's really satisfying to us after we get done with the training, what they say and how much they've learned.
So how many, is there a course like sessions, like so many sessions? Or can you learn it in one or two sessions or what does it take?
Well, our course is 2 hours long.
2
where-
hours,
Where
okay.
they are on the simulator the whole time.
Okay,
And you're always learning. We as instructors learn something every class.
Sure.
And we usually train 4 people at a time up there in our shoot room, which is like a 35 by 35 foot type of area. Carpeted, air, heat, all the conveniences inside. And sometimes we'll have 2 up shooting, sometimes all 4. And they will use Glock laser weapons. We have recoil weapons and non-recoil weapons. And we will give them a scenario. Then after each one, we will debrief and look at our options. What could they have done? Should they have said something? Should they have backed out? Should they have been involved or not? If they use their weapon, do they get on 911 to somebody else? What do they say on 911? You'd be surprised when we ask people, and I go, and we do role playing within the churches and within our shoot room. I go right up in their face and I say, "This 911, what's your emergency?" And they're just in front of a video, not a real event, and their tongue is tied. They don't know
Right.
what to say. Whatever you say on that recorded line can be used for you or against you in a court of law. It's recorded.
right.
So we have training where we teach people what to say, what not to say, when to talk to officers, when not to. We ask them, do they have insurance for these type of events? 99.9% of the people do not have insurance where they can call a vetted homicide attorney at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m., like a company like Right to Bear or U.S. Law Shield. We back those two because they cover law enforcement and church security and safety teams and civilians, no matter what weapon they have to use.
So one of the things that Mike and Jackie do through their business is provide insurance. They have an insurance company that you guys recommend and help people.
We are our representatives.
Your representatives, and you help those people get that insurance because just say me, if when I was up in Jefferson City, and I carried all the time up in Jefferson City, I didn't trust anybody at night. You know, you've got your suit on, your tie, you've got your pin that says you're a state rep, and it's dark, and I didn't know all the areas of Jefferson City, and you don't know who's mad and who's happy, and we went to a lot of events at night and get back at 9 or 10 at night and start the next morning at 6 again, and it was a long day, long night, but you didn't know who was lurking around different shadows and stuff like that, so even if I shot somebody out of self-defense, you're probably going to need one of your defense attorneys that this insurance company has, because somebody's going to try to sue you.
Correct, and once you get involved in a heavy non-lethal type of event, even, or a lethal event, the officers have a job to do. They need to get all the information that they can, because they want to get home to their families. But we go through a verbal type training of what they would say to officers, and because they don't want to talk to them right away because they're in shock. So they want to go to the hospital, they want to talk to an attorney and talk to the officer in the next 24 or 48 hours when they are out of shock, with an attorney with them. And just because you know an attorney, a brother-in-law or a stepson or something like that, that doesn't mean they're a good vetted homicide attorney.
Right.
And so you have to have those specialties. It's like, I ask them, do you really want a dentist to operate on your heart? No.
No.
You don't want a ticket attorney to take care of your murder trial or your
Right.
manslaughter trial.
Right, right. So, Jackie, when you have these 4 individuals, your class has 4, and I assume most of them get better as, I'm sure they're pretty nervous. I would be nervous. I mean, and so they get in front of this and they see all these things coming at them and stuff like that. But pretty quick, do people adapt and learn to make the right response?
They do. It takes them a few minutes to adjust, and we do some skill builders to get them used to the weapon, what we're using, and Mike a demo 1 or 2 to get them to understand what they're expected to do. And I'd say after about 10 minutes, they relax and they understand what's expected.
So this training could absolutely save a person's life.
Yes.
And I think that is why you guys are difference makers. I think that we don't have anybody on our show. This is 201 show, first show, and everybody that's been on our show are difference makers in different things that they do for people. And you guys certainly are that. So let me ask you this. You know, thinking back when I was in school, and they don't have driver's ed anymore in most schools. You have to learn on your own or with your parents, but they don't have. But I remember those. Maybe you guys remember this too. We had videos, films, and we're in a little unit, and we got a steering wheel and a brake and a gas pedal, and every student has this in their class. So they're kind of doing a simulated.
Right.
And I remember in that class where a car would pull out in front of you. If you didn't brake quick enough, your teacher would absolutely know that you hit that car. And you would see on the video, it would show your car hitting the other car, or maybe a person walking across this crosswalk. Maybe the light had changed and you should have stopped. It would show you whether you hit the car or person or not. Is that kind of like what? So if they don't react in the right way, make that split second decision, they could get killed. I mean, are they seeing stuff like that on the?
Yes. And
Yeah.
once the scenario is done, we do Mike does a debrief.
Yeah,
So
okay.
we play it over again, and if they shot, then it shows the shots.
That's awesome. I think there's where you learn. And I'm glad you said that a while ago, because I really value all our teachers and educators around the country. And I have so many friends that are in education, and they don't get paid enough a lot of times, especially in elementary school and junior high and high school. Some of the college professors make quite a bit of money, but you said you guys continue to learn too. As you're educating other people, you're always going to keep learning. That's what I've tried to tell my grandkids and young people when I go around and do talks. You never stop learning. I've got a
You never
grandson.
stop learning. And we instruct SROs at schools. We can instruct teachers
Yeah.
and supervisors at schools. We're post-approved, which means that we can give law enforcement officers hours of credit through MSU. And so it's really, really important training because you preserve life. And in these type of training scenarios, like you said, you can see where your shot, your gun, where that round went into the body or missed. If you missed and the bad guy shoots you, the screen turns red. That means you die. Okay? This type of a tool is so good, especially for people beginning to learn about the gun world, because we can use non-recoil, we can use recoil, there's no live ammo, so there's no safety problem, there's no fear in their mind, so it's easier for them to adapt and focus on what they're doing. And it is just unbelievable how good they get. And we have repeat business. We have them come 2 or 3 times a year. We've had one guy come 13 times in the last 2 years. And we recommend going to the range as much as you can. Go to the simulator at least twice a year, and we can rotate these videos, because going to the range, you enhance your accuracy. Going to the simulator, you enhance your response, your decision making, your mindset. It's very realistic. And the more that you're in front of the simulator, the more you're involved in it, and the more you'll learn to shoot and move. Because if you shoot in a real event, like you're at the range and you're standing still, because you have that muscle memory, you'll get hurt or you will die. If you don't go for cover, if you don't get off the X in a real event, which you're not trained at the range, you're trained only in front of the simulator or special ranges, you have to move and shoot and survive so you can protect the flock and the pastors and the innocent.
Well, I tell you what, that's interesting. So you guys being instructors and showing people how to protect their lives, I'm just curious. So what other things, and then we're going to go back, and I know you've got this defensive spray. I want to talk about a bunch of different things still, but so one of the things I do, and I don't like to put my back to a door. So when I go to a restaurant, I kind of drive Janet crazy sometimes, because she'll kind of be led. She's in front of me, and the waiter is taking us to the table, and sometimes I don't like where they're taking me. So I like to be able to sit where I can see the front door if I can.
That's exactly right.
And
that's how we were raised also. When you go into a restaurant, you usually let your wife in first. No more. Think
Yeah.
about it. What if that place is being robbed, or there's something about to happen? So I like to go
Okay.
in first, and I like to sit where I know where the exits are, and I see who's coming in. Exactly. And you might have an emergency word, an alert word within your family or within your church team. And if you see something, then you say something like tire. And then all of a sudden everybody's alert. There's something going on. Situation awareness, you need to see what's going on around you. If you're not alert, things can happen to you, and somebody can sneak up on you and catch you off guard, and you're behind the numbers, because once somebody has a gun pointed at you, you're too far behind to do anything.
yeah, well, and so folks, one of the things that I know that Mike's going to agree with is it's not just going to a restaurant. Think about going to Lowe's or a grocery store,
Exactly.
a movie theater. At least at the movie theater, they got the exit signs lit, and you kind of know where they are. But one of the things I do is, and I'm sure you guys tell people to do this, is every time you go in someplace, even if you don't need to use the restroom, know where it's at. Know where the restroom's at. Know where there's any kind of door that you could hide and duck into. Usually those active shooters, they don't just stay there for a long time. They shoot people, they wound people, they kill people, and then they're gone. So they're not just going to be searching out everybody, hopefully in a church or a room. So I tell people to make sure that you know where you're at all times. Where could you hide? Because sometimes hiding's the best thing, isn't it? You don't want to.
If you have no way to escape, then you would hide. But if you have numbers, use the number of innocent peoples against that shooter. There's all kinds of courses out there. You fight. You have to fight to the end. And we talk to people when they're in a gunfight. And not a lot of instructors have been in gunfights. I've been in 3 in the 1970s, in the first 2 years on HPD. And there was life lost in that. So once you've been in the gunfight, you have a whole different mindset of what to expect during and afterwards. So we go over that, the guilt and everything. But this is something that is very unusual, the way that we go through training. It's very personal. It's very upfront. We are on Facebook. We have a website, ozarkshoot.com. And so you can see our training room. You can see us in videos and training. You can see our spray called Soak that's sprayed on SROs and other people and myself and my wife. And the weapon's only used for the last resort. Hands-on, non-lethal is suggested that to use first. Legally, morally, we don't want to use the weapon until we have to, because you're going to be a suspect in a homicide until you're justified by the prosecutor or the grand jury in that county and in that state. And in today's world, politics, race, religion, news media, they have an effect
They
on
do.
those leaders.
Unfortunately, they do. And so this self-defense spray is different than pepper spray and some. So tell the audience exactly what you guys promote and sell.
It's called Soak, S-O-K, and it's on our website. And it's there's no chemicals in there. It's citrus.
It looks like that. So I think they can see that, and it looks like that.
It's citrus that burns your eyes. There's no chemicals, but it goes away in 5 or 10 minutes. But it has an immediate effect, unlike pepper spray. And it closes the eyes of the aggressor for a minute or two to give a citizen a chance to get away or an officer a chance to handcuff or restrain. And it doesn't contaminate the church, the jail, the police officers around, the citizens. You can spray it into a person's chest and it doesn't affect anybody. You spray it in the eyes of the aggressor, it only affects the aggressor. And it goes away if the aggressor wipes their eyes with their hands. Now they can't fight because their hands are slippery. They can't hold a weapon. But in 5 or 10 minutes, it goes away, and it's low liability. It's economical. It's easy to carry. We have a small bottle that we sell for, it's a 1.5 ounce for $15. Our 2.5 is $20. And then the 14 ounce that you can carry in cars in case you drive into a protest is $30. And so we are dealers for Soak. And it's a very good non-lethal weapon. And in today's world and in the courts, if you try to stop an aggressor with your hands or a non-lethal, and then you have to go to lethal, then that's a better defense for you and your attorney that hopefully you have insurance for.
Well, it's also good for dogs.
It's also good for
Yeah,
dogs.
so Post Office, UPS, Federal Express, they
Exactly.
all could use
So it
it.
stops a dog from biting you when you're running, or maybe
Yes.
a postman or anybody that's walking up
Exactly.
to
Yes.
Yeah, even campaigning. I mean, I've had over the years I've campaigned, I've had dogs try to bite me too.
Sure.
And it's not going to harm them like OC would.
Yeah, yeah. So how far back? I mean, how close do you have to be? What kind of spray is that? A kind of a jet spray or what
It's
kind
kind of a paste. It's a heavy paste, so the breeze doesn't blow it. It's kind of like a heavy paste. And so the small bottle, the 1.5, is good for about 5 feet, 5 or 7 feet. And then the 2.5 is what I carry, is usually good from about 6 to 12 feet.
Really? So
And-
you can be
yes.
6, 12 feet away and,
Yes, and
and
hit
aim
right in
for
the
their
eyes.
face, aim
Yes.
for their eyes,
Eyes.
aim for their nose is what I.
It goes right in their eyes, and it tastes terrible, but you can even eat it. It won't even hurt you, but it tastes
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
And then the 14 ounce is good for about 12 to 18 feet.
Yeah, so one of the things I would think that every jogger, whether you're
Oh, yeah.
a female or a male, a jogger, people that like to jog, and many times they jog by themselves. I've never understood. I'm a Boy Scout. I'm an Eagle Scout, and the motto was "Be prepared." And you never went hiking by yourself. You never went fishing by yourself. You don't do things by yourself. It's fun to do things by yourself, but it's not safe.
And
And
that's
not-
what's on our website, prepare,
Yeah.
train, survive.
Yeah. So you want that group to be with you in case if somebody gets hurt, the others can help them and things like that. So women out there, even men, joggers, hikers like to hike. A lot of people don't want to run, but they just want to walk. I don't like to walk around my neighborhood. I like to walk out in the country. You know, I don't like to see all the homes. I mean, beautiful homes. I mean, that's great, but I don't see the cars in the homes and the driveways. I want to walk along a sidewalk out in the country. That's why all these green trails, space trails in Christian County and around Southwest Missouri is becoming a big thing. They like to walk out in the country and see the flowers and see things.
Yeah,
We-
so it's
we-
more important to have something, a defense spray or something.
We
Well-
push living defensively. Defensive Living 101. You always prepare. Whether you're in the house or outside the house, you always are prepared in case there is an invasion or an attack or somebody follows you home from the bank. So living defensively, just like you drive defensively, it's really, really important.
Very good.
And so they can contact us at our phone number at 417-986-3927 is our phone number. And again, our website is ozarkshoot.com.
Okay, so when people check your website out, ozarkshoot.com, so when they do that, they're going to see just about everything. This is a great brochure, and they're going to see everything inside, outside, important information about your program, everything that you guys offer. And would they be, it has their phone number on your website. They can actually register and sign up, ask questions, and sign up for your training right there on your website.
Yeah, well, they can sign up, but we prefer them to call us
Call.
because, to be honest, we actually vet these people on the
Okay.
phone because I want to make sure that I'm training the right people.
Right,
I've got to be careful who I train.
right.
Because we have special training to defend yourselves, and there are people out there that want to use our training so that they can overcome. So you've got to be careful who you train nowadays.
I hadn't thought
because-
about that. You
Yes,
could
sir.
actually be training somebody that wants to
sir.
harm somebody.
Yes, sir. And I'm an instructor, and so is she. And we don't want to find ourselves in court and feel guilty in training the wrong person. So it's very important on who we train. And we're tied in with national organizations like Faith-Based Security Network, and we're tied in with people who have been in shootings like Jack Wilson and Steve Williford in Texas at Southern Springs and West Freeway. They have been on our simulator and they know about us, so we keep in touch around the country with the intel and the information on what's going around on shootings in this country.
Very good, very good. Hey, Mike, so we're going to, and Jackie, we're going to take just a few minutes, talk about two sponsors, and then we're going to get right
Okay.
back. Want to make sure we get that phone number again and kind of have final words, but our time just goes by so fast. But this has been absolutely fascinating, very interesting, and very important. I hope that you all, and the good news is that we have a lot of people watching this show live right now, but you can watch this show 24 hours a day. It's always archived. The whole library of all our shows are on every one of these social platforms, and you can watch it. Easiest way is probably YouTube, and just go to Changing Times, but we're on Radio Free America. We're on Facebook. We're on all kinds of stuff. They're always adding Rumble or something that I don't even understand how to get on. But you know what? There's a lot of people that know how to get on all these different social platforms. But we have two great sponsors that make this show possible and helps Acts Ministry. The first one is Brad Pistow. He is a certified fiduciary financial planner located right in Ozark, Missouri. Interesting thing about Brad Pistow is he is a gentleman that I use. Trinity Insurance Financial Services is a person that I use for all my retirement planning. Everything that Jan and I have ever done on retirement planning after we sold our 26 pharmacies, and I thought I was going to retire and not run for any more political offices, and they kept talking me into running again. But I will tell you, we have made a lot of money, and we'll never run out of money before we run out of life with Brad Pistow. So we just switched some annuities. Janet and I did, and ended up with $60,000 more than I had before, plus 3.5% more interest than I had before with the old annuity. He's always watching and advancing, and so tremendous bonuses. So you start out, we'll say $100,000, and he can get you a $40,000 bonus. Now you got $140,000 to start off with, plus a higher interest rate. And then, of course, I'm at the age where I have to take a minimum annual distribution and pay taxes on that. You never quit paying taxes, it looks like. But no, complete security. He has two books, Safe Money Matters, Bulletproof, both #1 best-selling books on Amazon on retirement planning. Brad Pistow. Phone number, 417-581-9222. 417-581-9222. Many of my friends and people and family members use Brad Pistow. Licensed in 12 states, knows people in all 50 states. He can plug you in and they can take care of you. So that's extremely important. The other sponsor that we've had for several years with my radio show and this talk show is John Whittaker. It used to be Youngblood Motor, and now it is Springfield Nissan, Springfield Kia. They're located at 3535 South Campbell, and their phone number is 417-882-3838, 417-882-3838. They sell Nissans, Kias. They sell new cars. What's interesting, across the street on South Campbell in Springfield, Missouri, they sell a lot of certified cars. They're probably one of the biggest dealers in the area, and they're actually been in business over 45 years, so one of the oldest family-owned car dealers in the Springfield, Southwest Missouri area. They sell to people in more than one state. But the reason why I like certified cars, I don't like to buy a new car. They're too expensive. But I like certified cars, low mileage cars, and they go through many safety points and checks to make sure that when you drive down the road after you bought the car, they're going to last a long time, a lot longer than just a used car that might have problems hiding in there that you got to repair. So in a way, these two guys, both Brad Pistow, John Whittaker, Aaron Swanson is the acting manager at the car dealership. Great people, very liberal with their money, helping lots of nonprofits and groups, and so we really appreciate those. So your phone number, 417-986
3927.
3927. 417-986-3217.
3927.
3927.
Oh, 3927. Let's do that again. 417-986-3927. Okay? Got to call that number, and then your website, ozarkshoot.com.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else? What's our last word, or safety, or what do you guys want to say to people?
Well, just keep in mind that when you go to a CCW class, all that proves is that you know how to pull a trigger. You don't know when to pull the trigger. You don't know what to do afterwards. So you can survive the incident physically, but you could bury yourself in what you say afterwards or what you don't say. So we go over that quite a bit, and people learn so much, and they keep on coming back. And we just want you to realize that when you go to the range, that doesn't give you a psychological, fearful experience like a real event does. The simulator does. Shooting at the range is accuracy for your weapon. Shooting at the simulator is your mindset and reacting and responding in a split second in a correct, moral, and legal way.
That's very good. I tell you what, so a simulator is going to increase your blood pressure,
It will.
and it's going to increase your adrenaline, because every
induced.
time you have that flight, fight reaction, every time you have something happen, you can't stop it. The adrenaline starts to pump.
Exactly.
And when all that starts to happen, your mind in a split second has got to decide what to do. And you're teaching them how to respond to that. So I think that's probably one of the most important things that we've ever had on our show, is to teach you. We're praying, we're hoping and praying that you never have an experience like that. But every day we hear it on the news. Every day somebody is going crazy and shooting a group of people. Every day.
Every day.
It just won't stop. And it seems to be getting worse. And so, course, thank goodness for courses like what you offer. I would just encourage people to call our number. We'll be posting it in different ways to try to make sure. I know that Jim Whiting, our CEO, will help and motivate people to know who you are and to check your website out and things like that. So we appreciate you guys. I know you just came back from another trip and stuff like that, but appreciate you being on the show. One last thing, Dennis, I'm sorry if I'm going over a little bit, but this is going to be real important. I've got if I can find it, on April the 23rd, I don't know what I did with that now, but on April the 23rd, we're going to come back here and going to bring Jackie with you.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about the Islam faith. We're going to talk about something that a lot of people don't know anything about. And this group, Acts Ministry Group, works with many different faiths. As long as you believe in God, Son, and Holy Spirit, this church group, Acts Ministry, helps and believes in a lot of different faiths. You get to choose your faith, okay? However, there is a worldwide move, and it's been that way for a long time, but it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And the Islam faith is a faith where a lot of followers believe that they're going to take over the world. They're trying to take over the world. And in Europe, they pretty well have they're the number one.
Yes, they have.
Number one religious organization in Europe. It's coming towards the United States, okay? Coming towards the United States. And what does that mean? Better know what these guys teach, because it could mean that. And so anyway, that's on the 23rd. Next Wednesday, we'll have a group called Cross Lines. It used to be called the Council of Churches. And we're going to be talking about all kinds of help that organization in Springfield, Missouri provides. Not just food insecurity, but many types, housing and medical care and other things. So unfortunately, our country has a lot of need, and this group is just one example of a nonprofit that helps a lot of people. So we're going to have them on next week, and then we'll have you guys back on the following week. We're glad you tuned in today, and we hope everyone has a great week the rest of the week, and I hope you have good weather like we're having in Southwest Missouri.
And thank you for having us, sir.
You
Thank
guys
you,
are
sir.
welcome.
Thank
I
you.
tell you what, you're difference makers. You keep doing what you're doing. I'm proud of you and proud that you live in Christian County. I think the best county in the state of Missouri.
Love the name. Love the name.
Yeah.
Be safe out there. Be
Yeah,
safe.
thank you. Yeah, everybody be safe.